The GOAT Crush Critics, absolutely. So let's introduce
Yep.
our guest. This gentleman, all three of us have been following him for a while now. I love his attitude. I love his energy. He says it just like we do. We keep it real, and he does
Exactly.
too.
Sometimes he even go deeper than we do. He'll come right, just say some stuff and be like, now see, he's saying what we're all thinking. That right there. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado,
I was going to say, can I introduce him?
Please,
Mr. Wallets Closed, Harsh Critics, guys.
Hey,
July 11th
What's going on, y'all? Y'all all right?
We
Doing
good,
all
man.
right, man. Doing all right. It's
Good,
an honor to have you on. Like I said, we've been trying to get you for a while, bro. So thank you for being
here. Yeah. I appreciate it. I appreciate, being on.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely got a lot to talk about. Obviously, man, we're going to talk a little bit about you and talk about your journey into DC. First things first, man. When did you knew that DC was your jam, was your comic, was your movie, was your everything?
Well, I'm an 80s baby, so I remember when I was like, it had to been like 80. The year what when the Batman came, the Michael Keaton Batman
89.
came out.
89.
I remember that. I remember that. For some reason, my mom took me and my brother and my cousins to go see that. And ever since then, I've just been a DC fan. I'm gonna be honest, like Superman, I didn't really get into Superman until like when I was like in my late teens or something like that. But Zack Snyder's Man of Steel really got me into Superman.
There it is.
A lot of his Superman got a lot of people involved. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I would say like because I mean we all probably in the same age range. You remember when they had like the Batman the animated series, and then they had Superman the animated series. That's when we started getting into more Superman stuff like that. But I didn't feel like, I'm pretty sure everybody didn't like Superman Returns. I know some people like that movie or whatever, but I didn't really like that. I just thought it was boring. But when Man of Steel came out, that's what really got me back into Superman.
Man of Steel was the same thing for me, man. Like I was never a big Superman guy. Even when it came to the animated series, I was always a Batman guy. Batman, everything. But Man of Steel, as soon as I saw that completely shifted my entire perspective on Superman.
Yeah, but to go back to your question, what got me into DC and comics was that Batman 1989. That's what started it off.
All right.
So do you have a specific comic that you can remember that spoke to you, that it made you a DC Comics fan? Like outside of the movies, I'm just trying to think. Like, what was your first comic experience?
I wasn't really like in the comic books, but funny thing is, we used to have boxes of them. And I used to just ignore them. Like I wouldn't read them or nothing like that. I really wasn't into comics until like I got older. Until like I said, once I got older, but it's no Pacific Comics. I still like to go back and see what people's talking about, especially with this Superman All-Star Superman. I just ordered that, and I want to see what the talk is about that.
Oh, so you ordered the comic? You ordered the book?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
First of all, I gotta say this, dude. I love your fucking posters, dude. I
look at them all the time, dude. Every time I'm watching this show, I'm like, yo, I have to get some posters, man.
Super Mario 3, Mega Man 2. I'm a big Mega Man guy. I'm like,
yeah.
That's the stuff I grew up. Saw that,
yeah.
Dude, when I saw that, I was like, I gotta get this guy here. I gotta meet this guy.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, it's just stuff I grew up on, stuff I like, because a lot of people got me misunderstand. Say you don't like anything. I like good movies. I like quality. Like I like stuff like like I can still cry over that film 30 years later. When he turns right and sick and all that stuff, I can still get emotional with that. That film is older than me.
Exactly. And that's what it's about right there, man. It's like it seems like these days the only thing you want to feel is numbness. Just give me some 90 minutes to 2 hours of some stupid shit, and then 5 minutes later I forgot about it, and then I'm back in the real world again. And that's not You know what I mean? And that's counterintuitive to what I'm looking for in film. So yeah.
I want to ask real quick: is the Man of Steel poster framed?
Yeah, all these are
Or are they all framed?
Yeah, they all framed.
They're all framed. Okay, sorry. It's just a little hard to tell if they were actually just posters on the wall, but I could see the glare in the Man of Steel one, so I figured it was framed. Oh man, that is so
beautiful.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
those are awesome, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, you just pick them up off eBay, or I go to a Pacific supplier on there and just get the movies I like.
Okay,
and frame them. That's it.
That's really cool, brother.
But it's Havoc. I'm prepared.
What about you guys? Like, when did y'all get in? When did y'all get into comics? Like, when did you start? Like, if you guys,
I'll answer first. I was born in '88. Okay, so for me, so for me, my first big I remember as a kid watching Batman '89 because we had the VHS. But my first theater experience I remember with Batman was Batman Returns. Yeah, I would, and because of that, that's what got me started into my journey with DC. I didn't care about any other superhero at that time. For me, it was Batman. And when Batman Returns came out, and then they followed it up with the animated series, that was my entire childhood. My entire childhood was Batman. My first comic book experience, I want to say it was a Judge Dredd comic book, because I have this memory of my mom picking me up. It was like a Judge Dredd versus Batman. I'm pretty sure that was my very first comic book.
Oh, that's experience. A classic, dude.
Yes. And it was such a gory, I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and it was probably the goriest piece of art I had ever seen. It was, to me, it was just phenomenal. But that's what started it for me. And then as I got into got older, teenage years, I started looking back into the classics. What were all the big comics in the 80s? And that's when Dark Knight Returns, Death and Return of Superman in the 90s, because I was still a kid. I didn't appreciate that at the time, but as I became a teenager and looked back on that kind of stuff, that's when it was wow, that was my jam,
Yeah.
Right.
All right. What about you, Phil?
So for me, Batman '89, that was my first one. Comic book, actually, the first comic book that I actually read was RoboCop v Terminator. That was the first comic book I read, because I'm also a big RoboCop and Terminator fan. But the first DC comic I grabbed was the Death of Superman, because that was the thing back in the day when because Superman was dull, just to quote Kevin Conroy, he was boring. So they had to do something to we need to get sales, we need to make Superman relevant, more important. So what do? Let's kill him off and then bring him back. So that was an event, just like the death of Robin. That was a big event when Jason Todd killed Superman, killing Superman with Doomsday. That was the first comic book I grabbed for DC. But when it comes to movies, Batman '89. I also saw Batman Returns in theaters, and same thing with Rocks, the animated show, then Superman show as well. So, and then Justice League Unlimited, and the rest is history.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
Mr. Charles.
Me, so and we talked about this before. The Killing Joke was actually the first one I read, and then I worked my way backward. You know what I mean? With the dark, the Dark Knight Returns and all that. I started going that way. So that was the first one that actually got me into DC comics in general. But '89's like Keaton's Batman, that sold me on the character and the actual IP itself. So, but the first comic book I ever read, 1977, Heavy Metal, Volume 1.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I'm dating myself. I was born in '73.
Heavy Metal.
So,
and I'm 83. So
right.
Yeah. So that was my first comic experience. It was dark. I shouldn't have been reading that comic, but
yeah.
Well, but anyway, I think Zack Snyder was also no, Mom, this is a good comic. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So that was my first comic experience from there. And then after that '89 Batman came. That was it. And then people, you know, I like Batman Returns too. It was way darker and more visceral than the first one was with the Penguin and all of that stuff. But I still liked it. I did. So.
Did you guys remember that when Batman Returns came out, like the toys?
I was gonna say, I remember all the marketing.
Yeah.
I remember
toys for the Penguin. They couldn't. The Warner Brothers did not want the Danny DeVito Penguin out because the thing would freak the shit out of kids. So they used like the Batman 60s version of the Penguin.
I remember the McDonald's toys. I don't know if you guys remember the McDonald's toys, but I remember the McDonald's toys. And I remember as a kid, I had the McDonald's Batmobile. And it was so cool. I wish I could find that. Actually, I got to look on eBay. I want to bring it back to my collection. Anyways, Harsh. Let's get back to you though. I want to know about what inspired you to start your YouTube channel. I want to know what got you into being the harsh critic that you are.
Well, I started.
This is the I'm waiting on. Let's go. Where my popcorn at?
Well, I have a music channel, and that's dedicated to that. But I just wanted to start another channel. I wanted to talk about movies. I think what really got me into starting a movie channel was when you had the shills that I call out saying, "Oh, this movie is good. This movie is good." Then when you go, you like, this is crap. Like the CGI is off. So that's what really sparked me to start a movie channel, so I can give my opinion about what I see through my lenses, because you know the shills, it was once upon a time they had a monopoly over this, but now that guys like you, guys like me, we coming up with we're
the new media.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what sparked me to start this channel.
Okay,
nice. How long? So how long? I'm sorry. How long is the Harsh Critics channel? How long has that been live?
I believe because at first it was called Be Good, because you guys seen it on my vest or whatever. I had the original, it was like Be Good Music Reviews, and then I had made I think the Batman, when the Batman came out, people was like, "Oh, you harsh on this movie." That's when my channel started really taking off or whatever, and then I just changed it to Harsh Critics, and it just stuck.
Nice.
Okay, awesome.
By the way, congratulations! I saw you hit over 5,000 recently.
Oh yeah, man! Congratulations, brother.
We want to congratulate you on that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
you know, this stuff ain't easy. Like I said, I'm learning as I go along. You know, making little errors here and there, but yeah, I'm thankful. You know,
you're putting in the work, and we definitely noticed that.
Yeah. So, I thank you guys. I thank you guys for
what's up, Creed? I see you.
Yeah, man. We've been in this game.
Y'all on y'all way to 1,000. Y'all on y'all way.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We've been at this since July of last year. You know, it's been an amazing journey for the three of us. You know, because we never thought we would, we never thought that we would have people like yourself, people like Wayne T. Carr. Shout out to you, Wayne. You know,
Brett Colbert,
Brett Colbert, Aaron Fisher. You know, guys that with much bigger, large platforms than us, and we're more than humble and grateful for people to come and give us little guys a shot. You know, because we're doing our thing. We're doing our thing, and we're unapologetic. We speak truth, and we don't fuck with our audience. Yeah. You know, we respect our audience, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. People that are watching us right here, you guys watching us, we do this because of you guys. You know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, we appreciate you. I speak for the fandom. You know, we appreciate everybody that's putting in their 2 cents about this, because you know, stuff got to be said, man. Like, but I'm pretty sure we'll get to that part. So I don't want.
We're gonna get to it. Oh yeah. We're gonna get to it. Absolutely. All right. I got one more question for you, and then we can move on, man. But Zack Snyder, man, obviously he's our all-time favorite CBM director. Obviously, Man of Steel, when he obviously made you love Superman. After that moment, did you see any other Zack Snyder films beforehand? or did you say, or did you watch Man of Steel and say, hold on, let me look at this dude and say, let me see what he's all about, going all the way back to Dawn of the Dead? Where did you pick up and then just move forward with that?
I didn't see any other Zack Snyder film. I still haven't seen 300, y'all. I know that's another big one of his movies.
Oh
yeah,
man.
I have. So Man of Steel was my first one, but I guess it's because after The Dark Knight, after that trilogy was over, I heard like, oh, it's this guy Christopher Nolan. He's recommending like this guy named Zack Snyder or whatever. And once I seen it, I'm like, damn, I'm a fan, you know. I just remember the feeling I got out when I watched Man of Steel. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to see more of this. And then I was on, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, I actually seen the filming of BVS because it was filmed in Detroit. I was working with the Detroit police at the time. And I'm like, damn, how is he going to make Detroit look like Metropolis? But then when I look at it on film, I'm like, damn, this guy was really creative. And I'm actually going to do like a filming locations of that because I know a lot of guys been asking about that. But it was just the camera movement that he did. He made the city of Detroit look like Metropolis, and it's crazy.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
yeah, to answer your question, yeah, Man of Steel was my first Zack Snyder film, but I always heard of 300, and I was always impressed by it, but I never got around to see it, which I'm definitely going to go see it eventually. But
I'll give you a digital code, okay? Like I just you have to watch it.
You have to watch it, bro.
But,
it's fire, man. Oh yeah.
But no, I'll admit now when BVS came out, the theatrical cut, I didn't like that cut. I did not like that at all because it was just
a lot of people didn't like it.
I'm right there with you, dude.
It was just really confusing, and then I'm like, what the hell? And then as soon as I got home, that's when WB had posted that scene with Steppenwolf saying, oh, we got 30 more minutes of footage. And I'm like, well, why y'all didn't put all this in the movie? So when I finally put the Ultimate Edition, I'm like, oh, I can rock with this. Because a lot of stuff made sense. Like the African lady, we didn't know she was threatened by Lex. They didn't even show her murder.
Right, they didn't even show the flamethrowers, so that it was like
flamethrower.
They didn't show that.
Yeah.
It was. You kind of knew when you saw it the first time. You're like, because when we came out of the theater, I was like, it was pretty good. But then I was like, but something is wrong. Something is not right. It's not matching up. The flow is not matching up right. Something is missing. Turns out it was 30 minutes worth. That was missing. He was the entire, what they call touchstone of that entire plot. And without him in that, it was just like, wait a minute. I know he's in the movie, but what's his ultimate plan? How did he connect everything? And
if you remember, they even cut out the scene where Superman went to Gotham to investigate what was going on.
They cut that out too.
So there was so much that was cut out, and like I was just like you, dude. When I got home after watching that movie, I go check YouTube, and there's this deleted scene that was taken out of the movie, and I saw, and then they announced, oh yeah, they're going to do a special edition with 30x. Like, I remember the wait for that. I was waiting.
Yeah, me too. Me too, because I want to know like what's going on with the scene.
How many times did you watch it in theaters?
I only seen it once. I only seen it once because
I watched the theatrical twice, and then after the second time, I knew something was up.
I went 4 times. I went 4 times because I was like, dude, what am I missing? What the fuck am I missing? Besides, I wanted to see the warehouse fight because that was the best fucking Batman
and to piggyback that question that I asked you about Zack Snyder, this tails in on it. When did you know you had to get into the fight? When did you know it was time?
When I seen the Snyder cut. When I seen that, I'm like, okay, we gotta do something about this. At least I gotta say something because my wife, she support me or whatever, and she was like, just go ahead and see it all the way through, you know. And I can look back and say, well, I did show my support for it because 100 years from now, people is gonna be looking back at this, you know. And that's the whole point of the movement, and just say, hey, we gotta take a stand for this, you know. Even though a lot of people say it's a slim chance, but it just we got to do something. I mean,
I was explaining. Yeah. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
No, you said you were married. Your wife, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So,
No.
has she seen the movies with you? Man of Steel, BBS, and ZSJL?
No, she didn't see she seen Man of Steel, but she didn't see BVS or Zack Snyder. We'll probably watch that one day or whatever. But she would just like just stay in there, you know.
Yeah. Because I just got my girlfriend just recently to see Man of Steel and BBS, and this is the one observation, and she's very psychological. In another life, she must have been a shrink, I guess. I was joking with her. She said, Marvel is too generic. This has a lot of action sequences, cinematic sequences. Those were her words. And she's a general audience. She's not a geek like me. So that pretty much says that people, general audience, feel and notice when they see Zack Snyder's movies. So
yeah, like even if you go look at like some of these people that's first time watching this or whatever, they be like, I want more of this. And they look kind of young, like they're in their 20s or something. It was like, are they going to continue this? And it sometimes I don't even like watching it because it's just like, damn, it's not going to be a continuation.
It's heartbreaking at the end.
I feel the same way. When I get to, I'm literally marathoning it this weekend. I'm stopped at the part on Man of Steel where he's getting ready to fight Fiora and what's his name, Namdek, whatever his name is, in Smallville, right on the street. I paused it right at that part, but I'm gonna watch all three this weekend. But so ZSJL is my favorite like superhero of anything of all time. That movie speaks to me in so many ways, and I absolutely love it. When you see Darkseid turn and walk away with Desaad and Granny Goodness, and he's walking back to his throne, through his throne room, back to his throne, all that, and then that's it, and you're just like, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
I was mad, dude. I was like, why are y'all fucking with this dude? Why?
Ego.
Yeah.
For me, it was the nightmare scene at the end. To know that we're not going to get
that was my favorite scene. Like
that whole nightmare dynamic, and getting to see like a live action version of Injustice would have been phenomenal. You know, and I know there's a lot of shills out there like we're gonna need an evil Superman. It's like we've never seen that on live action before, like on the big screen. Yeah, there's been interpretations on the small screen on television shows and whatnot, but we have never actually seen an evil Superman on the big screen. And that's not to say that that was the full direction that Zack was going, but it was a part of the story. And it would have been phenomenal for us to have been able to get that, in my opinion.
Right.
One last question for you, Harsh, and then we'll move on to our next topic. Because one of the chat members here, TJ, is asking, have you watched Watchmen?
Yeah, I was just going to interject. Yeah, no, that I did see that. So yeah, I did see Watchmen when it first. I actually got the DVD when it first. Well, that's when Blockbusters was still in business. But yeah, that would be my first Zack Snyder film. Yeah.
I got to point out Damian O'Brien's comment here. WB chooses typing monkeys over Darkseid.
We gonna get into it. We gonna get into all that. Trust me.
Oh boy, isn't that the truth?
Oh yeah, Watchmen was my first Zack Snyder movie, and I was impressed by the visuals then. You know.
Yeah.
That was his interview. Christopher Nolan saw Watchmen, and he's like,
"That's the guy.
That's the guy. Exactly. That's the guy right there."